ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना स्वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ मंत्र नंबर 2 श्रोत्रस्य श्रोत्रं मनसो मनो यत् वाचोह वाचं सौ प्राणस्य प्राणः चक्षुषश्चक्षुः अतिमुच्य धीराः प्रेत्यास्मा लोका अमृता भवन्ति सो श्रोत्रस्य श्रोत्रं मनसो मनो यत् वाचोह वाचं प्राणस्य प्राणः. So it is indeed the self that is ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, speech of the speech, pranasya pranaha, the breath of the breath, chakshusha chakshuhu, the eye of the eye. And well, knowing self like this, and then this dhiraha, this discriminative people, well, who know the self, pretya asman lokat pretya amritaha bhavanti, freeing themselves from this world, freeing themselves from this physical body, well, they are no more subject to death after leaving the body. So this is the meaning, and we have seen it as everything. It indicates three things. This mantra basically is an essence of entire Kenopanisad, and it discusses three topics. The first topic is the nature of the self. Second topic is the nature of self-knowledge. And third topic is the result of self-knowledge. All the three things are there. Well, of course, nature of self is very, very evident. Starting from Shrotrasya Shrotram up to Chakshushash Chakshuhu. Everything is indicating the nature of self only. And then Atimuchya Dhiraha, etc. Well, the Dhiraha itself indicates, we can say, Dhiraha. Knowing that. Well, so are discriminating between Atma and Anatma, or knowing the Atma. That indicates Atma Jnanam also. That way, well, the second topic also is discussed. And also the result, which is nothing but the moksha, etc. Well, they don't take birth again, etc. Indicates definitely they must be knowing the Atma. From that also we can infer the second topic, that is the nature of self-knowledge, or the self-knowledge as such is discussed. And well, the result, of course, as I told you, it is discussed. So, atimuchya dhiraha asman lokat pretya, living this body well, and they will not take birth again. Amritaha bhavanti. Well, they become immortal, means they don't take birth again. So, this all entire, the Vedanta has been covered as so. And this is the very essence of the entire mantra. And later, of course, from mantra 3 onwards up to the end, is the expansion of this mantra only. Anyway, so we call it, this is And in every Shastra we have this kind of verses, which is, we call it as a capsule. It's a capsule form in which, everything is being given. So, like in Bhagavad Gita, we have Ashochan, Anvashochastvam, Prajnavadamsha Bhashase, etc. Also is a capsule verse. Well, one who knows the self, that's what? Panditaha, na anushochanti. Panditaha means one who knows this, who can do this Atmanatma Viveka. Panda means Atmanatma Viveka. Panda asya asti iti panditaha. So, well, basically, but that's how Bhashyakara defined. So, one who knows the self, or one who are discriminative, people who can do discrimination between Atma and Anatma, well, na shochanti, well, they do not grieve. So, it indicates everything. And even Sarvadharman Parityajya, etc. also indicates, entire, essence of Bhagavad Gita. And so we have capsule verses like this, in the Shastra. So this is the same way, Mantra 2 also is like a capsule form of the entire Kenopanisad. Now, regard here, so the ear of the ear, mind of the mind, everything, indicates that, well, the subtle body must be an inert entity, and it is able to function. It has its own sphere of activity because of the consciousness, and that we have arrived at, because Keneshitam Padati Preshitam Manaha, etc. That Shishya's question was there, and that this is the answer, second mantra. And in that, well, definitely, but in presence of whom that basically either mind does a job of, like prompted activity, and a mind as though prompted goes on its own sphere of activity, and then even the ears also, well, perform their own function, eyes perform their own function, prompted, preshitam. And then ishitam also we have seen, well, in presence of whom. So basically it doesn't prompt. Its presence is enough. Its presence in the body is enough to make all the limbs function in their own way. That's how we say that. So this is, and then, well, to arrive at that, the Shrotrasya Shrotram, etc. What is the nature of that one who is present all the time, and in whose presence all the organs function as though prompted, so that we have arrived through, this world is basically inert, we said, and therefore, and for that we have given 5 features, and if you remember the 5 features, well, the first is the Drishyatvam. The entire world is an object of your knowledge. So, and then, well, it is, that's how it is inert. Then we said it has its own attributes, therefore it is inert. Then it is all the time changing, so it is inert. And then, it comes and goes, therefore it is inert. Like that we have discussed. And same way the body also. We discussed about world, there is no necessity here. And we should discuss about the body, because body appears sentient. And body itself is not body does not have a property, etc. We'll discuss now. Body does not have a property of consciousness. Body also is inert, like the world we have to prove. Therefore, first we proved that this world is inert because it has 5 features. Okay, then the body also, let's to look into the body. This gross body and the subtle body, both. And well, we find that basically gross body also is inert, object of knowledge, and is subtle body also is object of knowledge, and then it has its own attributes, and it is all the time changing, and it is made up of elements, and then it comes and goes. In one avastha, a particular body is there. In second avastha, that body is absent. Then the second subtle body is there. Then in that avastha also, oh, it's okay. Then the third avastha, even subtle body also is not there. And therefore, this also has they are also like temporal. We feel this, the physical body is present all the time. That's how we feel. And there is reason for it. We feel that physical body is eternal, as though it is present at all the time. We never have that kind of a sense that, well, physical body is available for 10, 12, 14 hours. Afterwards, it is not there. Anybody who says the physical body must be in a waking state. Without waking state, no one can prove a presence of physical body. So when you are awake, well, the physical body as though arrives, and when you go to sleep, physical body goes. So it is temporary, agama paitvam. And same way subtle body also. And therefore, like in a deep sleep state, even subtle body is also not there. And therefore, even in the dream state, all the parts of physical subtle body also are not there. And therefore, basically, in a given state, a given body as though appears, and when that state resolves, that particular body also resolves. And therefore, there is a temporariness. Well, and so physical body and the subtle body have the same features as of the, have the same features of the the physical world has. And therefore, definitely, as the physical world is inert, well, we don't have a doubt. Same way, physical body and subtle body also are inert. We should not have a doubt. We will have a doubt because they appear sentient. And that's how we have to analyze. Why? Otherwise, there is no need of analyzing. And therefore, they appear sentient, they appear conscious. And we may feel that, the physical body may have a property of, consciousness. Physical body consciousness may be the product of physical or subtle body. And consciousness may be the part of physical body or subtle body. So to avoid that, we have to prove that these both are definitely inert, and they are object of knowledge, and therefore and they are sentient. Their sentiency, or they appear conscious on account of borrowed consciousness. They are basically inert. Inert thing is not conscious. Consciousness is not inert. They are opposite things, and therefore, if they are inert, we have proved through 5 features. Still, it is appearing conscious. Well, definitely must have borrowed. And then somebody who lends. Of course, he is a physical body and subtle body are borrowers. And there is one who is a lender. That is subject, because this is object of knowledge. And therefore, what is left over is a subject. Therefore, subject must be a consciousness. And subject means I. And therefore, I is one who is consciousness, who lends basically a consciousness to the body. And definitely, and that is how physical body is conscious, subtle body becomes conscious, and and the limbs of subtle body, then they function in presence of the consciousness. And therefore, the consciousness, because of which, all various parts like eyes, ears, and etc., mind and everything function as though prompted. And therefore, let's call that consciousness is eye of the eye, ear of the ear, etc., etc. So this is how we are proceeding. So for this subject, which is consciousness, subject means I, that's for sure. Subject means I, there is no other meaning for the I. Anyway, so I is basically the subject, and that lends consciousness to the various parts of the subtle body and to the gross body. For that I, which is subject, which is consciousness, for that we have a five-point program. We have arrived, there are 5 points we have to note. First thing is, consciousness is not a part, product, or property of this body. Why? Simple. Body is inert. Inert thing has, what kind of a property inert thing has? Inertness. And therefore, consciousness cannot be the property of the body. Consciousness cannot be the product of the body. Why? Because body is inert. Inert thing cannot produce consciousness. And therefore, definitely consciousness is not a product of the body. And consciousness cannot be the part of the body. Why? Because body is inert. Then one thing cannot have opposite attributes. A fire is hot and cold also, Swamiji. No, that is not possible. If inert thing means property must be inertness only. And therefore consciousness cannot be the part. One part, Swamiji, of the body is conscious and other parts are inert. No, that's not there. And therefore entire physical body, entire subtle body, of course it is inert. Therefore the part of the subtle body or part of the gross body, etc. is consciousness, we cannot tell. And therefore consciousness is not a part of the gross or subtle body. Consciousness is not a product of this gross or subtle body. Consciousness is not a property of the gross and subtle body. That's the first point. Second point is, well, then consciousness must be independent entity. Well, we easily, if any part is there, part of the body, then part is dependent upon the whole. But if it is not a part, if it is property also, then it is dependent. Any guna is always have a ashraya in a guni. Any attribute will always reside in a substance. It cannot exist independently. You will never see a red color, or you will never see some jasmine fragrance independently. I mean, without flower. It is not. No, but Swamiji, it comes from the air, then definitely it is independent. Because I am getting just fragrance of flower right now here, but there is no jasmine flower here. But then air is basically the ashraya of it. And therefore, any guna will be always is residing in a guni, some substance, one or other. And therefore, well, if it is consciousness is not a property of the body, and therefore consciousness is independent of the body. If consciousness is not part of the body, consciousness is independent of the body. If consciousness is not product of the body, well, then the consciousness is independent of the body. Product is always dependent upon the cause, and therefore for its existence. And therefore, if it is not consciousness is not a product of the body, then definitely it is independent entity. That's a very, very big thing. Consciousness is independent of the body, and well, and which pervades and enlivens the body. Naturally, whole body is conscious. Physical body, everything here, if you pinch, then you feel, well, it is conscious, because you have a feeling that some my finger or somebody else's finger. And therefore, from toes to the top, let's say, everything is conscious. Entire physical body is conscious, entire subtle body. You won't say that my part of the ear is conscious. You cannot say. Ear itself function, whatever the capacity, less, more, whatever. Ultimately, ear functions on account of, because the consciousness is present. And therefore, ear itself is jadam, inert, we have already decided. And still ear is able to pick up the sound, etc. words. Therefore, ear must be conscious. One who picks up or experiences anything must be conscious. And therefore, basically, please understand these 5 points which I am discussing. This is the essence of the Vedanta. So, this is, well, consciousness is basically independent entity and pervades both the bodies, enlivens the entire physical body, entire subtle body. Well, third, and if it is consciousness is independent of the body, that's all. Consciousness, if it is independent, means body cannot limit it, right? Body cannot limit it, and therefore, well, third thing is consciousness is not limited by the boundaries of physical or subtle body. Subtle body has boundary in as much as subtle body is within the physical body. So the limit of the physical body is the limit of the subtle body. And therefore, the third point, well, is this. The fourth point, this you can note it down, because I have, so far as the Kenopanisad goes, or so far as any other Vedantic text goes, these 5 points will come again and again, like 20-point program of our Congress I in those days. This is a 5-point program of the Vedanta. So 3 points we have discussed. Fourth point is what? If it is independent of the body, both the body, then whatever may be the condition of the body, it has nothing to do with the consciousness. I mean, body has come into the being. Atma has not come, consciousness has not come into being. Body undergoes varieties of the changes, right? We have seen that. Visavikaratvam. Varieties of the changes are occurring in the physical body. Varieties of the changes are occurring in the subtle body. I mean, the senses keep on changing, and then mind keeps on changing. Everything keeps on changing. Prana keeps on changing. You don't have the same hunger and thirst of a previous thing. Even in a given age also, every day you may not have the same kind of hunger and thirst. And therefore it keeps on changing. And therefore, just a minute. So, yeah. Anyway, so consciousness basically has nothing to do with the body. Means what? Even if the body perishes, well, consciousness will not perish. Consciousness survives the death of the body. So it continues to exist even after body collapses. This is the fourth point. Fifth point. Well, then fifth point is consciousness, could not transact, right? Could not transact with the world unless the medium of the body is there. That is there. So consciousness basically, when it manifests through the bodies, subtle body first and later, and through the physical body, then only it is able to function or transact with the world. Both the bodies are required for transacting with the world. Please understand this thing. Even though consciousness, basically, if suppose consciousness manifests in one body called subtle body is there, still it will not be able to transact. And that we know very well, I should not discuss, because consciousness identified with the subtle body, manifest in the subtle body, reflected in the subtle body. That is what it leaves from the physical body and goes. We know it is not able to transact, even though people say a lot that my father has come and talked to me, and after he left the body and everything. Well, that's one's own basically imagination. It needs a physical body. If it is able to transact, this is my question. If it is able to transact without physical body, just identifying with the subtle body, or manifesting in the subtle body, or getting reflected in the subtle body, if it is able to transact with the world, why the heaven physical body should be given? Why? For what? But Swami, why are you asking question? Because physical body is a headache. Yeah. Just subtle body means you can imagine. You are so light. With physical body, no one is light. Even to talk or half a kilometer, he feels so much problem. And therefore, but subtle body means you are subtle. You are weightless. And then you can go anywhere. That's how Jiva goes. Jiva travels from this to Brahmaloka. Several stations come in between. Several stations. And it travels so fast. So you can travel anywhere. I can reach to India without any plane. That's how, if I wish to, then I can do that. And so just subtle body and I am able to transact in the world, meet the people, talk to them, eat and smell, everything. Then definitely, I don't need physical body. Physical body means you experience the pain, right? Pain, a headache, you will have a headache just because the head is there. You have a backache because the back is there. Subtle body, no back, no head. So you will thoroughly enjoy. Why it is given? Even subtle body cannot function without the respective limbs are put into respective houses, right? When the eyes, they come and reside in this, eyeballs, then they are able to see. Without that, they are not able to see. Anyway, so consciousness basically can transact with the world. In fact, consciousness is available as consciousness through these two mediums. Otherwise, no consciousness is, it remains invisible. Its nature is like that. Ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, arasam, anityam, nityam agandhavaccha. And therefore, the mode of transaction for the consciousness to the world is through these two bodies. So these 5 points we have to remember. Now, you can understand very well, yet I am giving you an example of this in which we can prove the 5 points. Take the example of a light and your hand. Take the example of a light and your hand. First point is what? What was the first point? Consciousness is not a part, product or property of the gross or subtle body, right? Let's prove it. Just take it, consciousness is as here, in example you take it as a light. And body, etc., you take it as this hand. So please understand, don't think too much other than what I say, right? So this is example, you know very well. If example and the illustration what you give and what is illustrated, if they are one and the same thing, I need not give you illustration. You can understand very well. Why should I give you illustration? Therefore illustration is always comparable to the illustrated in certain aspect, not in all aspects. So you compare. These 5 points are there in this. Light is not a part of the hand, not a product of the hand, not a property of the hand. Second. Then second point is what? Well, light is an independent entity and lights up the hand, right? Here lights up. We cannot say enlivens, etc. Lights up the hand. Third, light is not limited by the boundaries of the hand. You know very well. It's available here. Elsewhere it is available in somewhere else also, in the entire room. It's not just available here. So light is basically not limited by the boundaries of the hand. Fourth, light continues to exist even after hand goes away. You can see, if you are not able to see, I don't know, but I have put my hand on the back. I mean, it is here. So, basically, I'm just taking. If it is, even if the hand I take away the hand, still light continues to exist. This is the fourth point. Fifth point. But light definitely requires a medium, right? So, I want to see the hand. Definitely, then light has to reflect. If in fact the presence of light is only for you when there is a reflecting medium. Without reflecting medium, no one is able to see the light. You cannot see. Light rays are so subtle, you are not able to see. But Swamiji, I am seeing that the room is light right now, is well lighted. Yeah, but then the medium is there, that is air. So medium is there. Without medium, light is not available for perception. And therefore, basically, so light as so for its manifestation require a reflecting medium like this. So you basically are seeing hand. But you are seeing hand means what? You are seeing the reflected light. So light falls on it and then gets reflected and comes to your eyes. And therefore, basically, in fact, this is Maya. When I say, what are you seeing here? What are you seeing? Oh, Swamiji, I am seeing the hand. It's wrong. It's wrong. You are seeing light and the hand. Understand that. You are seeing the reflected light, and in that reflected light you are seeing the hand also. But you miss one thing and you just take one other thing. Suppose, no Swamiji, there is only one thing. You are saying wrong. Okay, suppose there is a darkness. Okay, absence of light. And now see the hand. No, Swamiji, that's not possible. That's all. So you are seeing light and hand both. But you miss the light. That is what we are missing, the Atma everywhere. Same, because in example it is light. In our Vedanta, it is this one is an Atma, the consciousness. So you are seeing everything. This is just by the way. I need not divert from this point, but I am telling you. So what are you seeing? He says, I am seeing a clip. I say, but the clip exists and clip shines on account of something else. I am not able to see. Yes, sir, the hand exists and hand is able to, you are able to see the hand because of what? Because of light. If light is not there, where is hand? Where is hand? Even though hand is there, but where is hand? That's what it is. For you, as the hand becomes as though non-existent. And therefore, please understand this very well, that basically, you are seeing light and hand, both the things. Anyway, so what I want to convey is light manifest through this hand, right? So manifested light only is available for transaction, etc. And light itself directly is not available for transaction. Same way, so this is how so the 5 points, even in the example also, we can see that. So anyway, Kau Deva has over in the Shishya has asked this question, who is that Deva, who is that subject? Because of which, well, the eye is eye, and the mind is a mind, and ear is a ear, and etc. etc. So many things. Prana is a prana, breath is a breath, everything. And so this is a consciousness. This is a conscious principle, well, which is nothing but I, which is consciousness, which is not a part, product, and property of the body, of both the bodies. Well, which enlivens the body, which is independent of the body and enlivens the body, makes sensuous, lend sentiency or lend consciousness to the body, both the bodies. And the third is, it even continues to exist even after the body collapses, because it is independent. And the fourth point we have seen, it is not limited by the boundaries of the body. That's the third point, I'm sorry. Fourth point, it continues to exist even after the body perishes. And the fifth point is, well, but definitely the consciousness requires a medium, both the bodies, well, to manifest itself. And through that manifested form, it transacts. That manifested form, manifested consciousness is called Jiva. Well, basically, whenever anything which reflects in any medium, then definitely is as though identified with the medium. I say the sun identifies with the water, means what? Or sun identifies with the mirror, means what? The sun appears in the mirror. Sun appears in the water. That appearance in the particular medium itself is called identification. That is no more identification. As though they are undergoing some kind of some modification in order to identify which. Nothing. Just appears there. That's all. That appeared consciousness, manifested consciousness, reflected consciousness is called Jiva. And then, well, of course, it is merely presence, but because of ignorance, it takes that reflected consciousness as itself. Because without reflection, well, you cannot know where the consciousness is. And therefore, even though consciousness is all pervading, but is not available unless it reflects. Light is all pervading. If reflecting medium is not there, existence of light is difficult to know. And well, same way, consciousness is all pervading, but through some reflecting medium called bodies, it reflects in that or it manifests in that, and then it is available for transaction. So Jiva transact with the world. We say it is nothing but the consciousness which is manifest and it transacts. And that is how he is called seer. Then, basically it's merely presence. And the eyes are prompted as though, please understand. Because if you say they are prompted, immediately we will have to say who is the prompter, how it prompted. Please understand, I have already clarified these things. So it is not prompted, it is merely presence. And it will be present. There will not be an absence. Yeah. This is not a school where sometime a P and sometime A will be there. It's ever present. Because it doesn't come, it doesn't go. And why it doesn't come and it doesn't go? Because it's all pervading. Who says it is all pervading? You are telling? No, I am not telling, sir. It is told in the Shastra. But who is that all pervading? That's called Brahman. So Brahman means which is all pervading. And that Brahman which is called consciousness, of course, then you should have told Brahman, why are you saying Shotrasya Shotram, etc. I will tell you that, and I have already told, but I will tell again. Don't worry. But please understand this thing. The manifested consciousness through the body alone is called Jiva. So we say Jiva transact with the world, with the empirical world, the empirical reality, etc. So basically Jivatma transact with the world. How he transact? Then when he transact, what are the names? Seer, hearer, thinker, etc. Seer, hearer, thinker, under the spell of ignorance, well, and not even under the spell, forget about it. Even when they manifest, well, you take them as a jiva. But that's a reality for you because of the ignorance of the real self. I mean, that's what it is. Please understand. And therefore, there is a ignorance involved, and so that's a final reality for the subject I. But it is just a manifestation. Atma, basically consciousness, manifests for the transaction through the bodies. Example of light and hand has several limitations. Don't apply here. Well, a body is like a hand, and Atma is like a light, and therefore there are two things. There are also two things, light and the body. I am the light and the hand, and here Atma and the two bodies. Don't say that and. Right now, may you keep it, no problem. But they are not two. As such, you know very well, it's basically non-separate from the Atma. Whatever the bodies are there, and that's how it is, of course, told year of the year, etc. We'll see that. Anyway, so, but so the Devaha, Kau Devaha, the Devaha is nothing but this Atma, the consciousness, which is the subject, which is free from all five elements, which is not drishyam, which is not object of knowledge, which is subject of knowledge, you can say, which is subject of knowledge, no problem. And which is free from any kind of modification, which doesn't come and doesn't go, which is always present. And what is left over? I don't think anything is which is free from all the attributes, right? So this Deva about which the Shishya asked is this Atma, which is free from all this. And well, teacher present answer in a very peculiar way, and definitely it looks like we are not able to understand it, right? And so somebody said philosophy is always like this. They say philosophy is looking for a black cat in a dark room in which it doesn't exist. That's how they say. Philosophy is the person who is tired of the philosophy, who is, he got fatigue, I think, with the philosophy. He says like that. We don't say, but he says like that philosophy is looking for a black cat. And there, where? In a dark room. Okay, we'll find it out. No, but in which also it is not there. So this is not true. Consciousness is self-revealing, and you, for that matter, I mean, it's not like a black cat. Do nothing to worry. Okay, what is that Deva? How he defined here? Shrotrasya Shrotra. So ear of the ear, eye of the eye, smell of the smell, and taste of the taste. I mean, organ of taste. And touch of the touch, mind of the mind, breath of the breath, hand of the hand, leg of the legs of the legs, etc., etc. You can define all the way. Upanishad will not do. Upanishad does a upalakshana. Always Upanishad will indicate. So for that they will take one or two sense organs, one or two organ of action. So they have taken vachoha vacham. That's an organ of action. And chakshusha chakshu, etc. indicates a sense organ. So this is a upalakshana. So by that, I mean, chakshu is called upalakshana. Upalakshana means it's a representative of the entire group. So chakshu is a representative of an entire sense organ, group of sense organs. And so you have to extend. I mean, definition of extend, you can fill it up completely. And vacho vacham indicates organ of action. So is speech of the speech. The Deva, the subject, is the speech of the speech, etc. And so it is an indicator, it is a representative of the entire group of actions, that is 5 karmendriyani. Okay, the shrotrasya shrotram, etc. indicates what? But now we analyze it. We have analyzed shrotrasya shrotram indicates, in between off has come. So ear of the ear. Then definitely these two are different things. House of the Rama. Then Rama and house cannot be one. And therefore, same way, ear of the ear, that one ear indicates something else, another indicates something else. These two are different entities. So, ear of the ear, and then of the ear, that 6th case we have seen, it is sense organ. And so, another ear, which is in the first case, well, that is the Deva. That is the Deva. Well, so we can understand that, so year of the year is this Deva, Atma. I am using word Deva because our Shishya has used it. So the first thing I can derive from the this phrase, Shrotrasya Shrotram, is this. They both are distinct entities. So Shrotrasya of the ear, that is sense organ, and Deva, which is Atma, is distinct from that naturally. We have already done it. Shrotra indicates an inert entity, and well, Shrotrasya Shrotram, well, the Shrotram which is in the first case, well, it indicates that Deva, Atma, which is conscious entity, and consciousness is distinct from this organ, that is organ of hearing, sense organ. So the first thing I can definitely say, both are distinct entities. From what? From Shrotrasya Shrotram, that much. Rest you can do. Then the second thing is, it is distinct, all right, but yet it pervades the entire ear. Otherwise, ear cannot function. And therefore, conscious, if it is ear of the ear, means the entire ear is able to function, then definitely, the Shrotram, that is Atma, basically is pervading this Shrotram. Well, Atma, that is pervading entire, because it makes the entire organ sentient. And therefore, that's your experience, that it is entire organ is sentient. And therefore, definitely, it indicates the Shrotram, which is in the first case, that is Deva or Atma or the subject, pervades entire organ of hearing. I am just analyzing Shrotrasya Shrotram. First thing I derived is, both are distinct. Both Shrotras are distinct. Right? And one is organ of hearing, other is Atma. Second thing is, the Atma, that is indicated by Prathama Vibhakti, first case, well, pervades the organ of hearing. Third thing is what? Well, and because of that, when it pervades, when consciousness pervades an inert entity, then inert entity can definitely works as a conscious being. So when the consciousness pervades the ear, consciousness gets reflected in the ear. When consciousness identifies with the ear, when consciousness manifests in the ear, whatever you want to say, it's up to you what word you want to use it. Well, then ear is able to do the function of illuminating the words. So that is how earness of the ear, well, definitely is to be given that title. Well, earness of the ear is because of the consciousness, that is subject, that is I. So I lend earness to the ear. Therefore, I am called basically a Shrotram. Atma in a secondary sense, please understand that. Somebody asked me, it's a very good question. Swamiji, both Shrotram indicates a primary meaning? No, both, because word is one, Shrotram. Shrotrasya Shrotram. Both have a same meaning? No, that's how I said they are distinct. And therefore, if they are distinct, then what kind of a meaning we should take of one Shrotra and the Shrotra number 2? Well, Shrotrasya, which is indicated in the 6th case, there you have to give the meaning, primary meaning. Primary meaning means what? Primary meaning means primary. The primary means main, mukhya. And that is the mukhyartha. That is vachyartha. That is popular meaning. Whenever you say ear, nobody will say, oh, ear means Atma. Nobody says. That is you and me will tell now. But people will not take. Ear means the organ of hearing. That's all. And therefore, and so ear is, but so many ear is what? Because of which you are here and you are able to hear. That is called ear. That is how we have to say. Ear means what? When you are here, you are able to hear. That is called ear. Anyway, this is just by the. Anyway, but so 3 things we have arrived. Shrotrasya Shrotram indicates 3 things. Both Shrotras are indicates they are different entities, distinct entities, and the Shrotram number 2, that is in the Prathama, which is in the first case, definitely pervades the organ of hearing with Shrotra number 1. Shrotra, let's put that way. Shrotra number 1 and 2 are distinct entities. Number 2, Shrotra number 2 is pervading Shrutra number 1 and third, and well, because of that, the Shrutra number 1 is able to function. Why you are giving one number? Because that's primary. That is why. So primary will be given one number. Secondary. So another Shrutra, the meaning of that Shrutra is Atma or Devaha or consciousness, and that is called secondary meaning. Secondary, because Atma is not called Shrutra. Just it provides, because of that, well, ear has a status of a ear, because of which ear has a status of a ear is due to Atma, and therefore we call in a secondary sense, we call Atma in a secondary sense as a ear. Okay, then you call ear all the time. Wherever any Upanishad I refer, you should tell it as a I am Atma ear. I am Atma Brahma, why are you saying? We'll come to that, don't worry. So, all the answers should not be given at a time. Therefore, anyway, now again I come back to another example. This is, of course, you have understood, but still. See, electricity is one, because of which our all electrical gadgets function, right? It may be lights, it may be a refrigerator, microwave oven, or what is your cooking range, or fan, air conditioner, all are functioning in presence of what? In presence of electricity. So you can take this example also. So electricity is merely present. Electricity does not contribute anything. It does not prompt also. Electricity has no mind to prompt, basically. And therefore, electricity is merely present. Then the gadget starts as though prompted, function on its own sphere of activity. Right? Air conditioner has one kind of a job. Fan has a different kind of a job. Heaters have a third kind of a job. And cooking range has a fourth kind of a job. Microwave does something else. Refrigerator does something else. Light does something else. All limbs, all electrical gadgets function in their own respective fields, in their own sphere, as though prompted by the presence of one entity which is invisible, please understand that, which is invisible, which is never available for any sense perception or anything. Electricity is not available as such for perception. Yet in that entity, in presence of that entity, well, all the gadgets function. Okay, now I will put that our mantra, so far as electricity is Atma now, for all these electric gadgets, I can put that way. Electricity is electricity is a fan of a fan. Electricity is the refrigerator of refrigerator. Electricity is a microwave of a microwave. I can tell, because if electricity is not there, without electricity, our refrigerator is not refrigerator, sir. It is a cupboard. It is merely a cupboard. Very nice cupboard it is, to put certain special things. If electricity is not there. Therefore, basically we call as a refrigerator, which freezes something. It's on account of ultimately electricity. And therefore, I can definitely say the electricity provides the refrigerator a status of refrigerator. And therefore, definitely electricity is the refrigerator of a refrigerator. Of refrigerator means that real refrigerator. That is real means that primary meaning you have to take. But in a secondary sense, you can call even Atma, secondary sense, you can call electricity as a refrigerator, because without that, there is no refrigerator at all, sir. Without electricity, that air conditioner is merely a dibba. It's merely dibba. No purpose. No purpose at all. Without electricity, fan is not a fan. Without electricity, microwave is not a microwave, it's a dibba, another dibba. That's all. And therefore, just electricity is just present, and every limb functions. And therefore, we can say, in presence of electricity, well, refrigerator and these and a fan and everything is able to function as refrigerator, as microwave oven, etc., etc. And therefore, I can say the refrigerator-ness of the refrigerator is because of electricity, and microwave-ness of microwave is because of electricity. Fan-ness of the fan is because of electricity. Okay, and therefore Shrotrasya Shrotram. Now come back. Shrotrasya Shrotram is same thing. And even though electricity and microwave oven are distinct entities, yet that's the first point. Second point is electricity pervades microwave oven, whatever in the gadget, and then enlivens as though microwave oven. And third thing is, well, and that is why microwave oven is able to do the job of a microwave oven, right? Microwave oven is able to do the job of a microwave oven. 3 points I have derived. From what? From what? Definition of electricity. What is the definition of electricity? Electricity is microwave oven of microwave oven. That's all. Please try to understand. If you follow, it's well. Otherwise, you can go back and we put in the channel, and definitely you can think over. If you have question, you can let me know tomorrow. So even mic loses the status of a mic. Really, mic. What is the purpose? That's how they throw. If electricity is not there, there is no value of mic. If electricity is not there, no electrical gadget has a value. No electrical gadget. And suppose, think that now there is no chance of electricity coming in the future in area. Suppose this not happened, but think of that way. I tell you, everything is useless. Which was having a cost of $300 and $800 and $900 or $1,000. Well, it has totally gone. It's merely a dibba. It's merely a cupboard. Nothing else, no purpose. And therefore, but somehow it will have purpose through some purpose. But ultimately, you need electricity. Whatever may be the source of electricity, that I don't bother. Ultimately, you need some source of energy, let's say. You may say, no, without electricity, I will run through this and that and whatever it may be. Source of energy. That energy is the one which is distinct from that apparatus, gadget. And the source of energy or the energy is enlivening the gadget. And energy is the one because of which ultimately that gadget is able to do a particular function. And therefore, I can give in a secondary meaning, I can give that status to the electricity. Whatever the gadget I call in a primary sense, in a secondary sense, I can call electricity also as that gadget in a secondary sense. Could you follow? And therefore, this is how we have to tell. Why should you teach in this complicated language? We have already discussed. If I tell consciousness, that is I, and that is you are able to, that consciousness is because of which the year is year, etc., etc. I'm sure you will try to, as you know, objectify things and get the meaning of the word. And you get the meaning of the word, only you objectify that meaning in your mind. Same way, consciousness is another word for which you will objectify. And therefore, okay, if you feel so, then you should have told you are that. You are that consciousness and you are the year of the year. You are that. That's correct. But already you means you are already considering yourself as a body, mind, sense complex. And therefore, it is not going to work that way because you have already identified. So this is the way to arrive at the truth that I am the year of the year. Therefore, I am not the year. Right? Year of the year means one year is different from the other year. That's what we have discussed. And therefore, it automatically disidentifies you from the subtle body and the gross body. And therefore, when I say like this, there is no scope. There is no scope for you to objectify yourself. No way. If I use the word Atma, if I use the word consciousness, if I use the word Brahman, if I say you, still you will not arrive at the truth which we have arrived right now. And therefore, year of the year indicates, well, one year is distinct from the other year. eye of the eye indicates, and therefore you automatically disidentify with this eye, this ear, this mind, this prana, automatically. Any sixth case indicates both the things are different. That's how the relationship is possible. House of Rama means what? Both are different. Same way here. And house of Rama, for that there is no much description required. But here you need a description because you have already claimed yourself as a gross body and subtle body. And therefore, word tvam also is not going to work as much as this way it works. Anyway, so this is what we have arrived. Now, let's go further. So, well, then the question arises is, so we need not now, by this way, when it is defined, so we need not search for this Deva or the Atma, the effulgent being, because basically it is self-revealing. Ultimately, if I am providing the consciousness or sentiency to both the bodies, then if I also have to look for the consciousness to some other entity, then there is no question, that is anavastha. Therefore, I must be the self-revealing. Well, the bodies, various limbs of the body, means eye, ear, mind, etc. are not self-revealing. They are revealed through me, and because of that, they are able to function in their respective field. And so, therefore, this invariable consciousness, well, because of which I am able to see, I am able to hear, I am conscious of what is happening in the mind, and that consciousness is self-evident, self-revealing, because that is the one that is called lender, who can give without borrowing from somebody else. If I also have to borrow money and then I give it to someone else, then I am not a real lender. Lender is one who is the source of the thing. So if somebody borrows money from me and I am lending the money, definitely I must be the source of the money. And therefore, same way, if I am lending consciousness to the various parts of the subtle body or the gross body, then I must be the nature of consciousness. And that consciousness is self-revealing. It is not revealed by any other thing. It doesn't expect any other pramana, any other means of knowledge to reveal. That's called self-revealing. Whereas this all, sense organs, organs of action, mind, prana, everything are revealed because of the presence of this consciousness. Okay, but then why not we just say it is Shrotram? Why you are say Chakshushash Chakshu? So you are calling it as Shrotram and you are calling it as Chakshu, etc. Well, because we are calling it as a mind also, because basically, if I use merely one word, Shrotram, then I cannot tell that, because it provides it provides sentiency to the eye also. And therefore, because of that same Atma, if eyes are able to do the function of its own sphere, eyes have a status of I-ness, well, then I have to call it in a secondary sense that same Atma is I, Eva. And so, merely one word Shrotram is not enough. And so, Atma is basically called Shrotram or Chakshuhu or the mind or the prana or speech in a secondary sense. Well, then it also indicates it is basically free from all these limbs. Otherwise, Shrotra is never called a Chakshu. Chakshu can never be called as a mind. But same one Atma is called all. Even in a secondary sense, it shows it is basically distinct from all of them. Could you follow what I am saying? And therefore, otherwise, ear cannot be called eye cannot be called mind cannot be called prana. Like that we cannot call. But the same entity is called all. Shrotrasya Shrotram also. And then Chakshusha Chakshu also. Mind of the mind. Ear of the ear. Eye of the eye. Speech of the speech. And breath of the breath. Means basically it has nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with the physical body. It has nothing to do with the subtle body. And it has nothing to do with the physical body also. Anyway, so, and also indicates, ear of the ear, telling, by saying that it gives the ear a earness. Eye of the eye indicates it gives the entire eye I-ness. When it says, it is said mind of the mind, it says entire mind has got a status of a mind because of that consciousness. and therefore it is invariably present in all these organs. And so I am never away. This is a thing. I am never away from all this, because if I am away, then definitely I cannot tell year of the year. Year of the year means year, this which is inert. We have decided through 5 features that ear basically has got a status of ear of picking up the sounds, etc. Means the consciousness is totally present in that, enlivening making them sentient, all the organs totally, and therefore the consciousness is definitely invariably present in all the organs, and as such also distinct. We have seen that it's independent of the body, and therefore now basically I am not limited by the boundaries of the physical body, subtle body, where I have already told you. So it pervades all the organs. It pervades, organs. It pervades entire subtle body. It pervades entire gross body, and and that is how the same consciousness now gets a status of a seer, hearer, thinker, etc., etc. And pervading, etc., please understand, we have to take it getting manifest into the mind, getting manifest into subtle body, manifest into other parts, or you can say reflected in the subtle body. We can say identifying with the subtle body, pervading the subtle body. All these are same thing. When it pervades that body, we call it as it is reflected. When it pervades the subtle body, we say it is manifest in the subtle body. When we say it pervades the subtle body, we say it identifies with the subtle body. Could you follow? And therefore, like existence pervades this form, means what? So existence, that Sat, manifests through this form. That's all. So pervades this or existence manifests through this form. Existence as though identified with the form, and therefore we always say existent clip. So as though existence and the form has become one thing. But then Swamiji, form is basically its imagination. Then without existence, where is the form? That's what I am saying you. This form basically is non-separate from the existence. And therefore when existence pervades the body, the form, here, of course we are talking here another form, but in this, it is same thing. Identifying, manifesting, reflecting, pervading, all this indicates one thing. And under that, when it pervades, reflects, etc., as though from its own mahima, from its own glory, as though it has come down to the form of transaction. That's how we say empirical reality. It is all empirical realities just for empirical words, and therefore this jiva, etc. So you can understand it, what it means. Nothing much have to think in that. So it pervades, of course, but it is independent. Remember that thing, it is independent. And therefore, if it is independent, definitely by pervasion, nothing is going to happen. It is not going to become a shape of the body or and the property of the body it will pick up. Nothing. Nothing. Because it is independent. Independent means you cannot affect. The body's dharma cannot be affected. Body's dharma cannot affect the self. We have to think that way. Anyway, so we see I'm able to see the subject, which is consciousness. Basically, when I manifest in the body, I say I am a seer and I see various objects. And I hear many objects. Because I am present in the ear, I am present in the eyes, I am present in the mind, I am present in the prana, I am present everywhere. And therefore, this way we can say, so perceive different sounds and knows various thoughts taking place in the mind because of presence of the consciousness. And consciousness is present. Present is consciousness. Presence is consciousness. Consciousness is presence. Other than consciousness, everything comes and goes. Remember now that inert, the fifth feature of that inert body. Fifth feature. What is that fifth feature? Agama apai tvam. Anevala, janevala. Anyway, so that is indeed what was asked for by the Shishya, Kau Deva, which is that Deva, because of which mind is a mind, ear is a ear, etc., etc., prana is a prana. And it is this sadharana, it is the invariable presence, invariable which is present in all, without which none of this exist. Without which none of this exists. Anyway, we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om Suryaji.